Hello, I'm Zoe Antoniades, and I'm the author of a series of books about twins, Callie and Jimmy. So I write the stories, and this is Katie Keir. She's the illustrator who draws the pictures. And here we are together at the bookshop, The Alligator's Mouth in Richmond, where we first launched the Callie and Jimmy books in 2020. There are three books in the series so far: Twins in Trouble, Twintastic, and Twins Together. And coming very soon is the fourth book, Twin Separable, which will be published in August this year, 2024. A good way to introduce you to the characters is to read the introduction to the book. Callie's the narrator, and this is what she says. I have a twin brother. Everyone calls him Jimmy, which is sort of the English version of Dimitri, his actual Greek name. Our mum's Greek, you see, because our grandparents are from Cyprus. Dad's not Greek. He's from Clapham. I'm Callie, short for Callista, which means, and I don't want to sound big-headed or anything, but it means most beautiful. I'm not sure about Dimitri, but if Dimitri means most annoying brother in the whole wide world, then that's him. Although she describes him as annoying, I mean, all of us sometimes find our brothers or our sisters annoying. They're actually twin separable. That means they're super, super close because they're twins, not just any ordinary brother and sister. They share everything, and not just their toys and their home, but their experiences too, like their birthdays or their first day at school. Callie would be the first to stick up for Jimmy if Mitch Moran were to bully him. And she cheers him on, especially on sports day when he's doing super well with his running. And when they get trapped in a cave in Cyprus on holiday, Callie is brave enough for the both of them. Twin separable, see? Another really important character in the book is their Yaya. Yaya is the Greek word for grandma. That's their granny from Cyprus. Here's Cyprus. It's close to Greece. Yaya is from Cyprus, but she came to live with them in the UK. They live somewhere in West London. Jimmy's a QPR fan. So Yaya does live with them. She looks after them a lot because mum's always busy working, and dad they do see, but he lives in Clapham and they stay with him every couple of weeks or so at the weekends. So Yaya gets them ready for school, sorts out their arguments, and she's a lot of fun too. Here she is doing some Greek dancing, saying oppa. So the books are especially about family and friendship and problems and how to overcome them. You can see the first book's called Twins in Trouble. They do get into a lot of scrapes and there's a lot of mayhem, but we always think about how to sort these things out as well, and they usually end fairly happily. They've been described by one of my favourite authors, Jacqueline Wilson, as warm-hearted, touching stories full of fun. So I was very proud when she said that about our Callie and Jimmy books. And Ross Montgomery, another fantastic author, has said they're a hoot, which I think means they're a lot of fun and they're often a bit funny too. Now, although they look like chapter books, there are actually 4 short stories in each book. So 4 stories in one. And you can read them in any order you like. So although this is the first book, Twins in Trouble, you can pick them up in any order and read any story that you fancy. So in Double Trouble, Jimmy tries to paint the house, and that's why they're splattered in paint on the front cover there. Another disaster. They dare each other in Double Dare to bake some cakes and put a secret ingredient in there that they probably shouldn't do. In Double Act, they have to work together in the pantomime cow for their school play. And Double Digits, they celebrate their 10th birthday. In Twintastic, the TTT twins, well, It's all about the tectonic Titan Trasher. That's what TTT stands for. And the Titan Trasher comes from a collection of cards, collector cards called Mega Mash Machines. The TTT card's one of those really rare ones, a bit like the golden ticket in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, and everybody wants to find it. Callie's best friend Aisha does find the rare TTT card and does a very silly thing. She brings it into school. So you can imagine what might happen. It goes missing. Some people fear it may even be stolen, and they have to uncover the thief. Trick or Treat Twins is a Halloween story. Tracktastic Twins is a sports day story. Jimmy gets to excel himself in that because he's really good at running. And in Travelling Twins, they go back to Cyprus for their summer holidays and stay with their cousins and have all sorts of fun. There's a dog on the front cover of this book. The dog is called Harry, and he belongs to their cousins who live in Cyprus, and they have quite a lot of fun with him too. In the third book, Twins Together, they get to take the class's pet hamster home. The hamster's called Lightning. Can you guess why? And can you guess what happens when they take Lightning home to stay with them? Disaster. Together in Winterland, they get a rare snow day in London where they live, and they have all sorts of fun with Dad on Clapham Common playing in the snow. Trouble again occurs. You'll have to find out what that is when you read the story. Together in Enterprise, they have to raise money for a school charity event, and Jimmy decides to set up a yard sale or a front garden sale, and he sells lots of secondhand things, but he accidentally sells something very precious by mistake, which gets caught up in the items for sale that day, and he has to try and get it back. He also leaves the money that he raises on the bus when he's travelling to school to take it in, and have to somehow get that back too. So a little bit stressful, that story, but also very enjoyable as well. Together in Peril, they go to a theme park. And peril means danger. And they do encounter some danger when they go on the roller coaster ride. The fourth book, Twinseparable, which is not quite out yet, unless you're watching this later on this year, in which case it will be. It's out in August 2024. You can see there, they go to the cinema. They also get to walk home from school by themselves. And Jimmy, though, does a silly thing on the way home and again ends up in trouble. In Twin Business, they go to spend the day at Dad's work on a school inset day and discover what the world of work is like. And in Twin Ventures, they go on a camping trip in the forest with their school on a school residential trip. There's a mystery to be solved, and there are friendship issues too, as there's a new girl in town, and she's joined their class, year 5, and she gets a bit in between Callie and her best friend Aisha. So there are some friendship problems to be solved too in this book. But again, you can see Ross Montgomery on the back cover describing them as a hoot. So don't worry about the problems. They always get resolved in the end. They've done very well. Lots of people already are really enjoying reading the Callie and Jimmy books. So hopefully you will too. They were a Love Reading Book of the Month. They were a Book Trust pick. They're on the recommended lists for books which celebrate both diversity and disability. Jimmy himself is a neurodivergent character as he has ADHD. But his challenges and the way in which he rises above them are championed, as well as his many strengths and talents. They've won a few awards too, especially by schools in Leicester who chose it as their favourite book that year, or one of them anyway, especially as a book that they might like to read for pleasure, because the books are appealing and accessible, which means if you find books a bit hard to read, you might find Callie and Jimmy a bit easier to read, a bit more easy to get into, and they have been described as unputdownable. My favourite thing is seeing our readers enjoying these books, because there's no point me writing the books if children just like you don't read them. So it brings me great pleasure when I see that the books are out there in the world being enjoyed by all sorts of children. Whether you find books challenging to read or whether you just love a story, and you want an unputdownable book, then hopefully Callie and Jimmy are for you. Sometimes people even dress up as Callie and Jimmy for World Book Day. Jimmy's a QPR fan, so he wears a blue and white stripy t-shirt. Callie often wears a unicorn t-shirt. She likes unicorns, even though she's nearly in year 6. She still really likes unicorns. These children all dressed up for World Book Day too, and they made their own unicorns and cut them out, stuck them on their t-shirts, which I thought was really clever of them. So if you'd like to read a Callie and Jimmy book too, where can you find them? In your local bookshop. I know the first book is in the works, which is all over the country, and you can get a special discount copy of Twins in Trouble from there. You can find them in any of your usual online booksellers, and you can go to your local library. It should already be in your local library, but if it's not, you can ask your librarian to order it for you, and they'll lend it to you for free. I might come and visit your school, or your school may have already bought some Callie and Jimmy books and put them in your book corner or your library. If I come and visit your school, you can order a book from me using this order form. Or after school, I often sit on the playground at a table and sign books for you, which is always fun because I get to meet you face to face then, and that's lovely. So I do really enjoy visiting your schools. So if you want to ask your teacher to get in touch with me, they can contact me through all the usual social media channels. Another way you can listen to some Callie and Jimmy stories or find out more about Callie and Jimmy is by going on YouTube, where you're probably watching this video right now. So I don't need to tell you about that really. I've got a channel here, and if you subscribe to it, you'll know when a new video pops up. As well as me answering questions or reading stories from Callie and Jimmy on here, you can also find a video of Katie Keir, the illustrator, drawing Callie and Jimmy pictures, and you can draw along with her. And also, you might, if you like listening to stories, find a Callie and Jimmy book on Audible. I went to a studio in London and recorded the stories myself. So it's me reading the stories. And if you have Audible, you can just listen at bedtime or in the car, or you can have the book as well and read alongside them with me helping you by reading them out loud on Audible. So I hope you enjoyed hearing a little bit about Callie and Jimmy and finding out a bit more about them. And I hope you are interested enough to perhaps get your hands on a copy of the book yourself. Maybe I'm coming to visit you in your school very soon too. That would be fun. I'd love to meet you. Happy reading for now.